Cristiano Ronaldo has spent more than 2 decades proving people wrong. Too old? He scored more goals? Finished? He broke more records? Past his prime? He found another way to stay at the top. But after the opening days of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, football fans around the world are asking a question that once seemed impossible. Has the World Cup finally exposed the one opponent Cristiano Ronaldo can never defeat? Time. And what happened on football's biggest stage may have revealed more about Ronaldo's future than any statistic ever could. Let's talk about it. The expectation that no other player faces. Here's the strange thing about Cristiano Ronaldo. Most players are judged by what they do. Ronaldo is judged by what he used to do. Think about that for a second. A normal footballer can have an average game and nobody cares. But when Ronaldo plays, millions of people expect greatness every single time he touches the ball. Why? Because for nearly 20 years, he made the impossible look normal. The bicycle kicks, the late winners, the Champions League miracles, the endless goals. He created a standard so high that even being very good suddenly looks disappointing. And that's exactly where the World Cup conversation begins. Football has changed. The modern game is not the same sport Ronaldo dominated in his 20s. Today's football is faster, more tactical, more demanding physically. Teams press higher, defenders recover quicker, midfielders run farther than ever before. Every player is expected to contribute in multiple phases of the game. The World Cup puts all of those demands under the microscope. Every mistake is magnified. Every sprint matters. Every touch is analyzed. And for older players, that environment can be brutal. Not because they've lost their talent, but because the margins become smaller every year. The moment fans started noticing what shocked many viewers wasn't that Ronaldo wasn't scoring every game. It was something else. The contrast. Around him was a new generation of players entering their prime years. Players who grew up watching Ronaldo. Players who copied his celebrations. Players who studied his mentality. Now those same players are becoming the faces of international football. And for the first time, some fans weren't talking about Ronaldo as the future. They were talking about him as history. That's a very different conversation. Why this isn't a failure. Let's make something clear. Being compared to your younger self is not failure. It's actually the price of greatness. Nobody compares average players to their peak years. People only do that to legends. When fans debate Ronaldo's performances, they're not comparing him to ordinary footballers. They're comparing him to the version of Cristiano Ronaldo who scored goals for fun at Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Juventus. That's an impossible comparison. No athlete wins that battle forever. Not Michael Jordan, not Tom Brady, not Lionel Messi, not Cristiano Ronaldo. The real thing the World Cup exposed. If the World Cup exposed anything, it wasn't weakness, it was perspective. For years, football fans argued about goals, trophies, records, Ballon d'Or awards, the GOAT debate. But watching Ronaldo now reminds people of something bigger, how rare his career actually was. Most footballers disappear after a few great seasons. Ronaldo remained relevant for over 20 years. Entire generations of players came and went while he stayed at the highest level. That isn't normal. It's extraordinary. And perhaps the World Cup has finally made people appreciate that more than ever. The legacy question. Imagine a young football fan in 20 years. They'll read the numbers, hundreds and hundreds of goals, league titles, Champions League trophies, international success, records that may never be broken, but numbers alone won't tell the whole story. What made Ronaldo special wasn't just production, it was obsession. The relentless desire to improve, the refusal to accept limits, the mentality that convinced millions of people that hard work could compete with natural talent. That legacy doesn't disappear because of one tournament, and it certainly doesn't disappear because of one difficult performance. So did the World Cup expose Cristiano Ronaldo? Maybe, but not in the way many people think. It didn't expose a bad player. It didn't expose a failed career. It exposed the reality that even football's greatest legends cannot stop time forever. And strangely, that's what makes Ronaldo's story even more remarkable. Because while time eventually catches everyone, very few athletes stay ahead of it for as long as he did. The next chapter of football is already being written. New stars are rising, new rivalries are beginning, and the sport continues to evolve. But no matter what happens next, Cristiano Ronaldo's place in football history is already secure. The World Cup didn't change that. If anything, it reminded us why his legacy matters in the first place. What do you think? Has football moved beyond Cristiano Ronaldo? Or are people writing him off too soon? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Boot and Ball for more World Cup 2026 stories, analysis, and football documentaries.